Greetings, African people. Today, in my hand, I have a detailed travel advisory from Canada for Jamaica. Of course, the list is there, and you can go and pick the different countries that you wish to travel to. But because I'm from Jamaica, I was interested to see what it is. And I checked it not too long ago, and especially when they had that Zika scare. Um, and it wasn't as detailed as it is now. This was updated on March 2nd of this year. And I find it to be truthful in many ways, but very disturbing nonetheless. It actually breaks my heart to hear some of the things that are being said about the people in my country. And whose fault is this anyway? So bear with me as I go through it. I'm not going to read all of it. I can post a link. But it starts by saying that you must exercise a high degree of caution when you go to Jamaica. There is no nationwide advisory in effect for Jamaica. However, you should exercise a high degree of caution due to the high level of violent crime. If I can say something regarding this, I think wherever you go in the world, you should always exercise a high degree of caution. This is why Euro America are always on high alert, because there's always fear for threats, for terrorist threat in these parts. So as human being in this global world that we now live in, we all have to walk around with this fear. This is what we have done to each other and to ourselves as human beings. Back to the Jamaica thing. In terms of travel, Zika virus, the Public Health Agency of Canada has issued a travel health notice for the global update. Zika virus infection recommendation that Canadian practice special health precautions while traveling in affected countries. Pregnant women and those considering becoming pregnant should avoid travel to Jamaica. Wow. It's really like that? Now, I've heard of a few cases of maybe one, actually. I don't know if there's more. I heard about one case. They were speculating that the lady had a baby and the child possibly could be affected by that Zika virus. Security. This is the part that is most concerning for me. That actually breaks my heart. And I think, rather than Jamaicans in the diaspora feeling embarrassed, or even people in Jamaica who are law-abiding citizens feeling embarrassed, maybe this is an opportunity for you to take a look at how you're viewed. Because when Jamaicans do these videos, it seems like we're hating on our own people. We're putting our own people out there. And I must admit that there are times when it makes me uncomfortable when I hear about how violent Jamaica is. Sometimes it angers me because I'm thinking it's small. It's a small island. And so the violence and the crime that you hear is concentrated. So it seems like it's worse than it really is. Whereas in bigger countries and bigger, places, it's spread out. So if we were to take the states and look at it from state to state, you would see the thing is really horrible. But we're not hearing about that in the media. Now, I'm not saying that this shouldn't be done, because I think every country, especially Canada, values safety and want their citizens to be safe wherever they are. So this is for you to know. And if anything is over exaggerated, it's best that it is, so that you can take more precaution, because people tend to go on vacation and lay their guards down and do things that they normally wouldn't even do in their own country. So this is the part that really bothers me. And I hope the Jamaican people see it and the government see it and really come up with a plan of how to change the worldview of us. It's not so much about how other persons see us, but how you view yourself, and make those necessary steps to bring us back to that place where we're not just a beautiful island, but a place where people feel comfortable coming, a place where not just people, because we're always concerned about outsiders, but the people in our own country feeling safe. When I was growing up, people left their doors open to go about their business. They're going out to work. They leave the door open all day. They leave the door open at night. That's a thing of the past. So crime of opportunity, including petty theft, pickpocketing, and bag snatching, are common in major tourist area. Ensure that your personal belongings and travel documents are secure at all times. Do not carry large amounts of cash or show signs of affluence. Well, as long as you have an accent or someone suspect that you're a foreigner, they all of a sudden are going to think that you're a person of affluence. Going on the plane and leaving Kingston or Montego Bay is an indication to most people in Jamaica that things are great with you. So you don't have to have, high end things or, jewelry or clothing for people to think you're rich. It's just the mindset. Protect your cell phones, popular items for theft. Be aware of your surroundings when withdrawing money from automated banking machine. That's the same here and everywhere else. Remain vigilant at supermarkets and retail outlets as credit card and ABM fraud is a risk in Jamaica. Now, I don't know the whole details. I don't know where they're getting this information from, and I'm not denying that it's not true because you've got to be careful. You see, when people are desperate, they resort to desperate measures. There's no justification for robbing somebody. Do not for a moment think that's what I'm doing here. But I'm saying Jamaican government, you've got to do better. There are always going to be thieves. There are always going to be dishonest people. But the one thing you value so much, this is what I want to say to the Jamaican government. The one thing that you value so much and you pour all your interest in is tourism. And because you fail to do anything else, because you fail to build those companies, fail to being, get those trade centers going, to fail to, get people who are in impoverished neighborhoods in situations where they have hope. This is how the world view our country. So the thing that you pay so much attention to, you might very well lose out in the end if you don't pull up your socks and do what is necessary for the people. Because here, this is not meant for the Jamaican people to warn us. This is meant to warn foreigners who are coming to Jamaica. Violent crime, including armed robbery and murder, is a problem in large cities, particularly Kingston, Spanish Town, Montego Bay. The availability of firearms is widespread, and most violent crimes, especially murder, involve firearms. Despite the presence of police in major urban areas, drugs and gang-related violence, including shootings, continues to be a significant problem. Yes, that is true. In spite of how much the authorities make threats and ask for divine intervention, we still have a problem. But some of the things that are listed here, guns, where are these guns coming from? How are they coming into our island, and what is the motivation for bringing all this gun? Where's the drugs coming from? We've got no poppy seeds, we've got no poppy plantation, we have none of these things. Marijuana, yes, but not cocaine, not ecstasy, not all these drugs. Where are they coming from, and how are they entering our ports? Police may impose curfew with short notice in areas where gang activity is concerned. That is necessary. While reports of violence perpetuated against tourists are actually very low, maintain a high level of personal security awareness at all times. And yes, that is true, because yes, things happen. People have gotten hurt in Jamaica, tourists, but it's very low because it's a commodity that is very valued by our people. But nevertheless, someone who wants to go, when they read this, they're not going to go to Jamaica. What's happening with the violence and the drugs in Jamaica is really affecting our people, and is eventually going to affect our economy if something is not done about that. Now, there's some areas that are listed: Tivoli Garden, Dedham Town, Central Village, Cassava Peace. These are random areas that I'm listing, and I don't want to go through all the names because I don't want to demonize people in all of these areas, because wherever there is violence, where there's a potential to be violence, people are there, and there are always going to be two sides of the story. There are going to be those who have said, I no longer care, I am just looking out for me and mine. And then there are others who are still law-abiding citizens who are also subjected to those kinds of terror as any tourist possibly could face. Extreme cautious in all regions of the country after dark, and avoid visiting beaches and isolated areas at night. That is commonsensical, that people, have to exercise caution, because even as a Jamaican, when I return home, I'm not out and about in the street. Truthfully, if I'm in Kingston, yes, I am very cautious because the people who live there tell you to be cautious. Do not use buses at night. If you're a victim of crime, do not resist, as this may provide or provoke the use of violence. Be wary of friendly strangers. I think you have to do that everywhere you go. If you don't know the person, you therefore cannot know what is their intent or what's in their heart. There have been reports of alleged sexual assault at tourist resorts carried by resort staff and in some cases by other tourists. Listen, I don't believe this part about resort staff raping people. I don't believe that. These people value their work too much. There's such little opportunities for them that I don't know about that. But this is very necessary for these resort individuals to be very careful, because we're very friendly persons, very touchy feely kind of stuff. And rape now is not penetration. Rape could very well be you saying to somebody, oh, you sexy, or I like your butt. It's that kind of age, it's that kind of place we live in now. Right now in Toronto, I'm looking and seeing an enormous amount of black guys being charged for rape. Somebody said somebody spoke to them inappropriately on the train, or someone might touch without permission. Touching somebody on the shoulder, touching somebody on the hand can be also be classified as rape, sexual assault. You could go to jail for a very long time. And I know people in Jamaica are touchy feely kind of people, especially men. Sometimes they can be a bit forward. They would never intentionally set out to assault you sexually, but they think that because they are friendly, that everybody appreciates that. Not everybody appreciates your friendliness. Not every woman feels comfortable with your advances. I know some of you think you're Casanova, you're the sex god and you're the gallus, but if you don't adjust that in this global economy, this global world, it's going to affect you badly. And I don't like to see black men being presented as rapists. And that is the kind of rhetoric these days. And it'll make it very difficult for men to be able to defend themselves these days, because rape is no longer penetration. Rape is not no longer a violent kind of encounter. Rape could be you just saying inappropriate things to somebody. Sexual assault could just mean you would try to touch somebody's hand. As a man nowadays, it is a very scary place to be when you're single and you're looking for a partner, because any number of accusations can come against you, and you will have a very difficult time defending yourself, because the boundaries, the lines of demarcation are so thin, so thin. So when I hear that men are raping tourists in hotels, I don't know, I have a hard time believing that. But it also says that other tourists, that sounds very common. Individuals hook up sometimes. They drink, they get drunk, and exercise less caution than they should. And then when they wake up the next day, they have regrets. And oftentimes, sometimes women will say they were raped, and sometimes they were really raped. People take advantage of the fact that they're inebriated, and as is necessary, women have to take caution, and men have to be hyper vigilant not to be accused of these things. It says vigilance is recommended when staying in smaller or isolated establishments with less security. Compounds that are gated and guarded are considered the safest accommodation in the Kingston area. Never leave food or drinks unattended or in care of strangers. That is everywhere. You can't go to any club in Toronto, no club anywhere in the world for that matter, and leave your drink, because even people that you know are inviting you out that you might even be interested in, and they're lacing your drink. And the date rape thing has been going on for a long time. So this is not exclusive to Jamaica. But for those who are reading it, they might think this is just a worldwide thing. And Canada has all business to warn its citizens about potential dangers. But I'm thinking everybody should know this by now. So it says be wary of accepting snacks, beverages, gums, or cigarettes from new acquaintances, as they may contain drugs that could put you at risk for sexual assault and robbery. Wow. Credit cards, ABM card skimming is a concern, and travelers should keep these credit cards within sight while making transactions in stores and restaurants. Now, listen, there are individuals who go to Jamaica and use their credit card. And I know of individuals who confess to doing this. And I'm going to say that while I think it's necessary for this to be out there to warn people to be careful so that they don't get scammed, but there are travelers who go to Jamaica, use their credit card, and then deny that these things are what they bought. I have known of people who have done that in the past, who have said that this is what they do. They go there and they buy expensive jewelry and things that they normally wouldn't be able to afford. And when they come back, they call the credit card company and say this transaction is not mine. They deny it. And guess who gets blamed? Some of those poor workers at the hotel. Innocently, they get accused of stealing. Now, everywhere you go, there's a potential for violence. Everywhere you go, there will always be dishonest people. These recommendations or these suggestions or these things that are listed are important for us to take note of. But I would say to persons who want to go to Jamaica, exercise caution that you'd exercise here in this country. It's a beautiful island. It's a beautiful place. And many people go there and have never had any kind of misfortune or any event that causes them to say, I would never go back. Hotels and resorts may not have lifeguards or beaches or may lack warning systems for local water condition. While private beaches with security guards are generally safer than public beaches, never leave your personal belongings unattended when swimming. Common sense. Demonstrations occur and can lead to significant disruptions to traffic and public transportation. I don't know what this is about. I don't agree with this. I don't know. I can't remember the last time there was demonstrations in Jamaica that disrupted the order of things. And I think there should be more. There should be more demonstrations in Jamaica because the state of the country, the state of the nation is in disrepair and people need to stand up and demand their rights and their justice. But yes, there's a potential for things to get out of hand if a demonstration takes place. But it hasn't. Not in a long, 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 long time. So it goes on to say avoid all demonstration and large gatherings as they have the potential to suddenly turn violent. No, 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 that is not true. So persons who go home tend to go to some fest, go to, name all these different music festivals that they go. There's hardly any incident of anything happening, whether to tourists or to people local. Um, so that blanket statement to say avoid large gatherings, I don't know about that. You follow the advice of local authorities and monitor local media as you would do anywhere else. Then it goes on to talk about traffic. We drive on the left side of the road. And then driving in the interior is dangerous due to narrow, winding, and badly maintained road. True, true, true. Disgrace, disgrace, disgrace. You should be ashamed, Jamaica. When you think that you are hurting the Jamaican people by not doing the things that you need to do, you're actually hurting yourself, your own image, because here we are being told that your roads are terrible, which is true, which makes me always say, what are you doing with the taxpayers' money? Canada has every right to put this out there about you because every summer they dig up their roads and fix it. They use the taxpayers' money to fix the roads, to have good health care, to have good hospitals. They have all right. They have bragging rights. So now you have to be subjected to listen to this because it's the truth. The truth. Government of Jamaica, you're thinking you're hurting the people. You're hurting yourselves and your own image. And it goes on to say, stay on main road as much as possible. Speeding and driving under the influence of alcohol is common, true, but it's also common here too. There's not a day that I don't go on the road and see people violating the phone law. Even says don't be on your phone, operate your vehicle with a phone. People are doing that. People are rebellious. People are always going to be out there doing what they want to do and breaking the rules. It's not exclusive to Jamaica. Then it goes on to say motorists should keep vehicle windows closed, doors locked, valuables hidden. Roadside assistance is available island-wide. When driving between Normal Manley International Airport and Kingston, take the South Camp Road, also known as the Hummingbird Route, rather than Mountain View Avenue, which can close on short notice. Public transportation is not safe due to high levels of crime and overcrowding. Overcrowding, yeah, that's true. And possibility of something happening on one of those buses is true, yes. Knutsford Express offers reliable and comfortable bus transportation between major cities Avoid taking unmarked taxis due to risk of robbery. Yes, yes, that is true. And it says avoid these unmarked vehicles because of sexual assault as well. Well, we had a big scourge the other day with girls that were going missing and allegations that it was a taxi drivers that was taking them. Avoid excursions that are not recommended by tour operators. So they're saying don't trust the private people who run taxi. Don't trust them unless the tour operators are the ones. But once again, the tour operator are people too, and you take your risk, take your chance. More than likely, nothing will happen, but exercise caution, not just in Jamaica, but everywhere in the world. And then it talks about the medical facilities that are available in the tourist areas are usually very good. And it gives you about law and culture, how to go there, and how people can have 56 grams of marijuana because now it's not legalized, but it's decriminalized. Big difference. And then, of course, you're warned not to attempt to bring any drugs or banned substances to Canada. It is illegal to wear, buy, or sell army or police camouflage clothing. There are import and export regulations in terms of firearm produce and pets. Entering the country with a firearm or even a single round of ammunition is considered a serious crime. And then the final, there's a lot more now. Post a link so you can read it for yourself. LGBT travel advisory. The law of Jamaica prohibits sexual act between individuals of the same sex. LGBT travelers should carefully consider the risk of traveling to Jamaica. Consult the homosexual, bisexual, and transgender travel for more information. I'm going to leave it here for now. You can read the rest for yourself. But I found it straightforward, and a lot of what is being said in it is true. I'm not the kind of person who, is blinded by truth, or when someone says something, even though I might be very attached to somebody or a place, when I see the good and the bad in everything and everyone. And a lot of what is said here is true. But I think for those individuals who are there committing crimes, who are causing the country to have this terribly poor outlook, and for others to be viewing our country that way, it is going to affect us if we don't stop. Every area that is listed here in Jamaica have good and bad citizens. Just like here in Toronto, we still have guys running around doing all kinds of things, killing each other. But it's not a black thing. And therefore, understand this is not a Jamaica thing. And it does say other, actually it says it's not a nationwide travel advisory, but most areas and the areas that are listed are having problems with scamming and drug related things and guns. Pull up your pants or your dress, or put on your dresses. I don't know what to say. It is very, very sad indeed. And I think if I saw anything from this is that the Jamaican government is very comfortable in spending all their time and efforts in promoting tourism. But when these advisors are out there, it just goes to show that the very thing that you value, you don't care about the Jamaican people. You just care about making money from tourism, which oftentimes does not benefit much. It doesn't build our country, because the persons who have these hotels there are, once again, and I've said this before, are they are building their own wealth. This is why they charge in US dollars. This is why they're charging in currency that is not Jamaican. This is why they bring their own people to build these hotels. This is why they get their own food. They're not buying local food. This is why you have to understand that is one aspect of our resources. It should be one aspect and not the only one, because it can be taken anytime. And health advisory saying that if you want to come to Jamaica and you expect to have a child, don't do it, the Zika. So when it comes to health, that can be a deterrence for people to come to Jamaica. When it comes to crime and violence, it's a deterrence for people to come there. When it comes to wanting to feel safe, it's a deterrence for people to come there. All the things listed here are example of why this tourism sector is very feeble and very weak. We need to be invested in technology. We need to be building, infrastructure. We need to be encouraging our students to get into technical areas that will build our country and not depend so much on tourism. And you are only hurting yourself, Jamaican people, guys who are out there gang banging and killing each other. I'm not going to justify what you're doing, but I'm not going to condemn you either. Get your acts together and build your country. Those of you who were living overseas, who learned your skills and art from Euro America, and now you're going home to Jamaica and making it a terrible place to live. Let's not forget that a lot of the crimes that are happening in Jamaica now are happening by people who got deported. Get your acts together. Get together, Black people. Get up, stand up, and be strong. Be blessed, African people. Think on these things.